how not to be broke ever in your life again. We're going to talk about that right now. What's going on, you guys? It's Felicia here from Valuable Referral, and all I do simply on this channel is refer value to the entrepreneur, to anybody who just want to win. And today I'm going to talk about a very, very important topic. And guys, it's imperative that you get it, and I hope you're tuned in and focused. Eliminate all distractions, because I'm about to give you the key to never be broke a day in your life. And this is something I wish I would have learned and probably paid attention to about maybe 15 years ago. I could have been sitting there, maybe next to Jay-Z. Who knows? But today I'm going to be talking about how not to be broke another day in your life. So check this out. Alright guys, so I honestly feel that somebody told me this maybe when I was 21 or 18, in that 18 to 23 mark range. I don't even know if I would have paid attention with it, because sometimes as a young adult you just kind of you're rebellious, you just want to do what you want to do, and you think that everybody that's older than you just kind of lived a different life and this is a new day. But I don't even know if I would have took this advice and took it seriously, or would have got it at that child level mind. But I got it, and I really know what the key to being wealthy, because you can be wealthy without actually being wealthy at the time. It just takes time for that wealth to actually hit your bank account. That's the true thing. But this is going to be a short video, and I really, really want this to help you. A lot of gurus, they won't simply just come out and tell you, because they want to keep stringing you along on a rope so you can keep buying stuff from them. And they just keep stringing you along, and they won't simply tell you what it is that you need to actually be wealthy. So the key to being wealthy and never to be broke another day in your life, there's two ways. The first way is solving a problem. Let me tell you guys something. I know I use a lot of celebrities and famous inventors in a lot of my videos, and just to prove a point, and I'm going to prove a point today about a famous inventor who I've used before in several of my videos, but this is just the proof in the pudding. Thomas Edison made one of the greatest inventions, if not the greatest invention of mankind, and the man has been dead for I don't know how long. The light bulb. I still use it to this day. All they did was simply basically made LED, but they still use his inventions of how to do it. He solved one of the greatest problems of mankind, because at that time mankind was simply, how we were in the prehistoric days and using fires and stuff like that, and now we upgraded to lanterns. But the problem with lanterns at that time is that sometimes it would tip over, and back in those days they didn't have buildings and high rises like we have now, so they had more farmland, and that would catch fire, killing the people inside as well as the animals. So he invented something that could be used throughout everywhere. I mean, third world countries and different things of that nature. He simply, pay attention to this, solved a problem. And that's number one, to never be broke another day in your life. Ask yourself, what kind of problem is out there that I can solve? For instance, nowadays we have things like Shark Tank, or I don't know, a lot like Invent Help is another place where you can come. You ever see George Foreman, like, George, I just talked to Invent Help, like that whole commercial. He's talking about people who have creative ideas and want to get their ideas out, as a prototype that they can shop to investors that can help the greater good. Here is a problem in humanity, and I have a solution that can help just about everybody, or a certain number of people that is having this issue. For instance, I'm going to actually buy it for my personal cat. It's actually people who are in and out of town, or they're not home often, and they don't have time to really clean up the litter like that. Somebody invented a litter cleaner. It's more expensive than the regular, I'm pointing because it's pointing to my actual litter box, but it's amazing how this person seen a problem Now, obviously, this is not a worldwide problem because not everybody has a cat, but it's enough people to benefit to actually make yourself one, to serve those people who are actually in the same predicament as you, and also to make yourself very, very wealthy. So he actually, whoever this inventor was, created something where it's a self-cleaning litter container where the cat litters, does their business in the bathroom, and it's a sensor to it, and every time the cat leaves, it starts to clean the litter. And it's very, very cost efficient because the pan itself is about 25 bucks. Now normally you're paying almost that depending on the pounds of litter you buy each month. This person has just invented something that simply solves a problem. Even when you want to go to the negative side, when it comes to guns, before there were weapons, there were people were using arrows, things of that nature, swords. So they wanted to know how to actually create something more lethal that can get to the enemy faster. They created bombs, they created things like that. They created something that made a solution to their particular problem. Though in a sense nowadays we have too many guns on the street. There's a plethora of people using it in a wrong way. I'm just going to speak here just from a personal opinion, not to just be on one side or the other, but I personally think that people kill people. If you have a smart person that's responsible with a weapon, whether it's a sword, machete, or a gun, nobody gets shot. But if you have an idiot or somebody who is mentally unstable and emotionally ruled, then yes, you will have a mass destruction of people, killing folks. But it's really, a gun doesn't just go off by itself. And if it does, it's very rare that it's a defect like that. But for the most part, when it comes to mass killings but anyway, that's just a whole nother discussion. But the point I'm trying to make is, number one, you must solve a problem to be wealthy. So sit back and think about what it is a problem that mankind or a certain group in the world has that we don't have invented. And don't get me wrong, it was an invention I once thought about, and I couldn't pitch it to investors because, for the simple fact that somebody did it a couple of months or probably about a year before me. They thought about it before me. So that's one of the reasons why when I actually think of something, I get it out. I start researching immediately because it's just a matter of time for somebody to think of the same thing I think about, and then boom, it works. And basically the first one to the totem pole wins. That's just how it is. I actually thinking about a place where you can actually come into a restaurant, don't really need a waiter. You can actually call for the waiter at your table. You can pay at the table. You can actually order at the table. And as soon as I was to put this and is going to draft this all together, Applebee's and Olive Garden already had it. So I was like, oh, back to the drawing board. I have to think of something else to invent to actually pursue investors and buying something that solves a problem. And that's really one of the main things that you really, really need to come to grips with. What can you do to solve a problem? Number two, and this is actually, there's only really 2 points to this because number two simply says, okay, if I can't necessarily solve a problem, if I can't think of something to really, really solve a problem in the sense of creating something that, an invention type of thing, where can I serve where other people don't want to, in areas where other people don't want to do? For instance, something simple again. We're going to talk about pets. Dog walkers. You'll be very surprised how much money dog walkers make. People go to work. So and also they love pets. So not that they're trying to be irresponsible, but pets is at home and they want to love them and care for them, and they want their pet to be treated a certain way. But they also know they have to pay the bills, and that's the only way they can take care of a pet. So they pay people to do something that they don't have time to do. That's what dog walkers is. So when you actually, I walk the streets of Manhattan often, and I see one man holding about 15 dogs, and like the dogs are pulling him, and he just seems like he's just about to, whatever. But I don't know, for some reason he still has his other hand with his phone, and he's texting while the dogs is pulling him. It looks funny, but he is solving a major problem. Owner's not there, but the owner knows that the pet has to use the bathroom. The pet has to go outside. So who can I pay to actually unlock my door or get access to the house or whatever to actually do what it is I can't do? Not that I can't do, but I don't have time to do. So that's number two. Another reason, another way to actually become wealthy, become rich, is to actually serve in areas where people don't want to serve, or not necessarily don't want to serve, but don't have the time. So if you can make time for things that people won't actually discipline themselves to do, let's say personal training. Personal training in an industry like health is huge, and it will never die, because some people need motivation. Not necessarily that they need it. Let's say their mind at one point or another, especially in 2019 and beyond, is not disciplined. Because nowadays you can get motivation from anybody. You can get it from books, you can get it from YouTube videos, you can get it from wherever motivation, you can get it from music. So it's not like, we're sitting there, we don't have phones and we can't reach other places of inspiration. But the personal trainer is there to actually hold you accountable. And if you can be that accountability partner, and you can always remind them why they needed to start, and they don't really have the discipline in their mind to actually think that way, they pay you to help them eat right and to get their mind in a way where it's corrected so they don't go on the wrong path. Some people do need it, and some people really don't. It's just the discipline of it. So either they don't have time or they won't do it. So personal training is something that is a need, because, like I said, either people won't do this because they just don't feel it's necessary. They don't really have the stamina to keep going with it, or they don't have the time. For instance, another job, and I'm just going to say this because it's something that a lot of people don't want to do. Though there are a bunch of companies that do it, but if you think about it, not a lot of people really want to do it. Morticians and embalming bodies and things like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, it could be a depressing job. I mean, what mortician had a sense of humor? I mean, I never actually met one, but what I mean when I say that is the fact that they're dealing with the dead, and most people don't want to deal with the dead. It's just the reality of it. Most people do not want to deal with anybody dead. They don't hardly want to deal with dead pets, and it takes a special type of person to actually do it and care for the body. Even with the I don't even want to say the name wrong, but even people who pick up dead animals off of the highway, not a lot of people want to do that. So because not a lot of people want to do that, are comfortable with it, or don't have the time to do it, guess what? That person gets paid. That person serves where, especially if they do a really good job, because they're doing it based out of a passion position. So it's not like they just want to say, hey, I just want to make a whole plethora of money, but the service has to be there, and your service is only going to be there if your love is there. That's just what it is. If your heart is in it, if your commitment is there, that's the only way. Good service, because we can both be the same position. I can have a funeral home and you can have a funeral home, but guess what? If I treat the body with care and I treat the family who comes in like royalty, because I care for their loss and I care for how they're feeling at the time, I'll get more customers than you who just want to charge at a higher rate. And they'll pay me for my rate because they know that the service and the death didn't feel so grievous in a sense. So I hope that helps somebody. I know I was kind of a little radical when it came to certain job, but I just wanted you to get it in a sense of, I wanted you to see what it is that makes people money. You either do something that serves mankind or a certain group of people within mankind a greater good, like Thomas Edison, like I said, the light bulb. We still use it today. They just enhanced it with LED lights and made it brighter and longer, but his invention still lives on. Or you do something that people really don't have the time to do, or they don't want to do. So you can use it. You can look at it. I just kind of went extreme when I came to the whole mortician and people who pick up animals and stuff them if they or whatever. But I just wanted you to see where real wealth comes from. When you talk about musicians, people put their heart and soul into music, and guess what? If they keep doing it, and persistency plays another key role in being financially free, somebody's going to know about them. Somebody's going to hear about them and going to give them a shot. There's been nobody on planet Earth that has kept doing something that hasn't come back to them. Not one. Whatever you put out comes back to you. And I hope that actually touches somebody. I hope somebody opens up their mind and be like, yeah, I really need to get on what it is I'm good at, what it is I don't mind doing, what it is I can serve other people with. What invention do I have? What ideas can I actually bring to the table? what can I say to people that actually inspire? Some people are good at speaking. I know I'm good at speaking, you know, and speaking to the audience and actually be comfortable on the platform of speaking. So, and I know it can help somebody because I know my gift simply is just to inspire. You know, I might have other gifts down the line, but I'm going to keep discovering myself. I'm going to keep working on me. But that's comes with diligence and actually seeking how you can be better and how you can change within you, that you can help somebody else on the outside change as well. So that's what I wanted to give you. Those are the keys to wealth. This is what a whole lot of entrepreneur gurus or just gurus in general don't want to actually tell you. You look at the money and you say, "Oh my God, I can do the same thing," and you can. But if your heart is not there, it's only going to last for a certain amount of time, because whatever the weight of it, whatever it is you're trying to do, that's on the negative side. Like, you know, I like to teach, but do I really like kids? You know what I mean? Like, whatever that weight is, you'll be able to deal with it, because guess what? It's something you love to do. So you can deal with the nasty kid at your school because you love kids, you know, and you can try to sympathize with that child and find out why is that kid the way he is, as opposed to being like, listen, this kid just needs a whooping. This kid is going to end up in jail one day, da 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 da, and you personalizing it because it's not really what you want to do. You're looking at it from the benefit and from the money standpoint. So if that actually hits your mind and it click for you, or somebody you might know that needs to hear this, hit that like, hit that notification bell, share the video, hit the thumbs up, and be in the know and on the know. I personally believe that in my life, I went through a lot of trial and error, a lot of heartache, a lot of tears I cried. I believe I did it for you. For everything I learned, I just want to just give it all to you. And do you know why? Simply because you're worth it. See you in the next video.